Okay, so back in 1989, the city of Seattle came up with this idea to uh, um, to save resources, basically, so that because they were already spread really thin, and they were already having a hard time having enough officers to respond to shoplifting incidents in stores. And so they were like, "Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? We can't seem to like get to these stores soon enough to handle the shoplifting." And the stores were like, "Oh my god, there's such bad shoplifting. Like, you need to help us." So the police were like, "We don't really have the resources to do that, but why don't we make a special deal so that you guys can have special rights and privileges to prosecute the shoplifting? Um, but in exchange for that, you have to not rely on us whatsoever." And so you'll be the only people who are offering or who are doing the prosecution of the shoplifting. And so they signed a contract back in 1989 and called the Retail Theft Program. That's when they came up with it. And today there's 120 different retail stores in Seattle that are part of this program that give special rights and privileges to the security guards who are working in these stores to prosecute shoplifting. So and it's actually by contract at these stores, the Seattle police are not supposed to be not they're not allowed to based on the contract to be involved in prosecution of any shoplifting case where that has less than $950 or more than was it less than $950 of items merchandise. So like basically what happens is you go from say you go and shoplift at like Nordstrom, for instance, and you get caught by the security. What they'll do is they'll detain you, issue you, or what they're supposed to do based on the contract is detain you, issue you a like a shoplifting admonishment, um, and then fill out this security incident shoplifting thing that they send then to the city attorney. That basically is like a police report. It's basically like the police report, and so then this bypasses the normal how most every other city handles shoplifting. It's just is the police officer handles the prosecution. The security guard might show up and they might the security guard might apprehend a shoplifter, but the person who shows up to do all the paperwork and to handle everything besides just catching them in the store, stopping them, is the police officer. So the security guards at these retail theft program participating stores, like 120 of them, in Seattle, and now Burien, before Seattle was the only city in the entire country that's ever had anything like this. So the security guard will fill out the police report, send it to the city attorney, and the city attorney then decides to, just like they normally would if it was a police officer sending it in or filling it out, they decide to either press charges or not press charges, and somebody can go from getting caught shoplifting in a store to having a case brought against them by the city attorney to getting sentenced by the judge, or found guilty, not guilty, getting sentenced, um, and then doing either the time or whatever the sentence is. Maybe they got off, they just had to do community service, whatever the issue was. And so that can happen in Seattle and now Burien also. All that stuff can happen without any police officer involvement whatsoever. And that's by contract at these 120 retail stores. The retail theft program participating stores are in a contract with Seattle police where they are not involved in shoplifting prosecution. So long as it's like less than $950, and as long as that was the only crime that was committed. Like if there's another crime that was committed in tandem, um, if it's more than $950, it's no longer retail theft. It becomes like some other elevated like felony of some sort. Or if like say when they were running out the door, if they went out the fire exit, that makes it a felony. Or like if they hurt somebody, like they pushed somebody, like if they were going out the door, something like that. Or if they were previously trespassed from the store, or the security guard couldn't get a ID from them, or like they wouldn't give their real name or something, then there's police officer involvement because that involves a new crime other than just basic retail theft. So, so this has been going on since 1989, and we're the only city in the entire country until just very recently. Burien signed on this. We're the only city that operates like that. We're like, they shouldn't have called it the retail theft program because that does not describe what it is whatsoever. It's not like a diversion program or a drug program or like a rehab program. It's not a program like people think of. Like, it's literally just a department of the Seattle Police that was established to give special rights and privileges to security officers and retail stores in Seattle. And so, and okay, so yeah, so there's so much that I could talk about this for forever because I'm so passionate about shoplifting and like the retail experience in general and customer service and about SPD and just police in general. I'm like really passionate um about things happening the way that they should and people having like a good experience when they go shopping. And but like so this is obviously an issue because there's when it comes to like the three different civilian oversight groups that keep or are supposed to keep SPD in check. These security officers fall outside of that jurisdiction where or fall outside of the oversight committees that are established, like because they're not police officers. So there's no oversight of these security guards whatsoever, and and to me that's really troubling because people will say, well, oh, they're security guards, they're not police officers, but it's like they literally are they're basically police officers because if it wasn't for these security officers prosecuting the shoplifting in Seattle at those 120 stores, then who would be? Like like a police officer would. They literally, and this is literally, you can read this on SPD's like the manual for this. Like this is how it describes it. And if you read the details, it's exactly what it is. They give special rights and privileges to 120 retail stores to prosecute shoplifting. You know, I just hate how I don't know. It's like, why does nobody know about this? Like, it's because they seriously, I don't think they want you to know. Like, it's like, why would they call it? I don't want to be like paranoid or like conspiratorial, but like there's not a lot of information about it unless you like download the actual like policies and procedures manual for Seattle Police, like in the retail theft program participating store manual, like um there was just like literally a little blip online where they call it like retail theft program is a alternative reporting procedure. Like what does that even mean? Like most people would just most people don't really research and read like the manuals for the police and like really investigate and look into stuff like that. And I only did because I literally had I was falsely accused of shoplifting and I was assaulted really badly inside a Walgreens store, the one downtown on 3rd Avenue. Like they effed me up really bad, and I wasn't shoplifting. Like it's not funny. I shouldn't laugh, but like so, I was just like, that's sorry. That's how I got interested and started to learn about what is really going on. Like, how does shoplifting prosecution work in Seattle? Like, what is the retail theft program? Like, what's really going on when you get really fucked up by a security guard who is in a special contract with the Seattle Police that has been given special rights and privileges by the Seattle Police to prosecute shoplifting? Like, what happens when one of those security guards makes a mistake, doesn't follow the special contract that they're in with the Seattle Police, and really fucks you up? And like, what happens then? That's what I found out, and my experience was not good. I mean, God, I could go on about this, but that's just. I think that's all I'm going to say for now. I just wanted to give a little blip it. Someone asked. I posted a tweet about the retail theft program. And of course, wow, how can I explain it in what is it, 70 characters or less, or 140? I don't remember. So I thought I'd post this video just to give a little bit of a blip it about this, and uh, yeah, I think that we need to be talking about the retail theft. But we need to be aware of it. Like at bare minimum, we need to make sure that like this information on how things work gets proliferated through all the information needs to be proliferated through everybody, because I think this is like important stuff. Like um, it's like how the city works and how or doesn't work. Um, yeah. Oh yeah. So another thing is, let me say this real quick, because this is becoming such a long video. I'm gonna make sure not to go more than 15 minutes. Statistically, the retail theft program, it doesn't work for a lot of stores. Like some of the stores, I believe, when they withdraw from the program, or they stop being part of it, their shrink improves. Like the retail theft program doesn't necessarily uh, it doesn't necessarily um, stop shoplifting or make it better necessarily, because it's like how can you tell the difference between shoplifters who were really good at shoplifting, like the shoplifting problem was there's just that many shoplifters and they were that good at it, and security guards who just aren't doing their job or just who don't give a shit. Like how can you tell the difference when you look at the shrink for a store? You can't like just look at the numbers. Like how do you tell when you look at like obviously like you can look at the inventory and you see like this is what the shrink was, which is like when you do the inventory and you see that, oh, we got this amount of money, we can see this amount of things sold, but we were supposed to have been sold this many things. Like we had this many items, but only this many items sold, and we have no more items left. Like so that's then the shrink. Like say that you sold 30 of something, and but you had 50. It's like but you're all out of them now. So that means your shrink was 20 of that item. So if you just look and you see that the inventory for a store, like you can't really tell just by looking at that, like what really happened. Like, was it because the shoplifters were really good at shoplifting? Is that why the shrink was what it was? Or is it because the security guards didn't give a shit and didn't try to stop them? Or, or were poorly trained? Or there could be a million different things. You just really don't know unless you have been in that store and like you actually witnessed what's really going on and paid attention to the stuff. Like, and I'm not talking, it's really hard because, if you're, say, like the CEO of Bartels or whatever is in there to check on the store, which they come, I mean, I don't know how often she was in the store, like downtown the downtown Bartels, one that closed on Union, whatever, I think it's 3rd and Union. Like, how many times was she in that store what does she really know about what's going on in that store? Like, literally, I become obsessed with this stuff after my horrible experience being falsely accused, and so much more. Like, so many other things happened that were horrible. I started really paying attention because I'm in stores all the time. I don't have a whole lot going on in my life, and I live downtown. I've always been downtown. Like, I go in these stores all the time, and I started becoming really obsessed and paying attention to what's going on in these stores. And I uncovered some really messed up things in a lot of Seattle retail stores that just they don't follow the retail theft program contract that they're in with Seattle Police. So it's like, if you're not following the contract of how you're supposed to be responding or how you're supposed to be operating, it's like the best practices aren't followed. So what do you expect? Like, and it's so much worse than that at so many stores. Oh my god! But this is all. It's like, hopefully that was kind of like hopefully that wasn't too much. Um,